Our next speaker is now going to talk to you about some new technologies in the treatment of aphasia. And that's a lovely lady by the name of Alejandra Casarotti Romano. And she's from LifeWorks at Royal Rehab. And she has a master's in speech pathology from Macquarie University. And I don't know if any of you had the opportunity to go over and have a look at the technology hub at Royal Rehab, but it's certainly a groundbreaking area that we should all be starting to look at in terms of a lot of the work we do with stroke. So welcome, Alejandra.
Hi, welcome everyone. Thank you all for attending, whether you're here in person or online. My name is Alejandra and I'll be presenting on the topic of new technologies in aphasia treatment. Hopefully technology won't be letting me down during this presentation. So just a little bit about myself. I have been working at Royal Rehab LifeWorks for a few years. I work primarily in the NDIS space, and I have experience assessing and providing interventions for adults with speech, language, cognitive communication and fluency disorders. I've also worked across various settings, including acute, rehab, private practice, community and rural areas. So LifeWorks, RIDE is known for its technology centre, and we really pride ourselves on using the latest, most advanced equipment to make therapy more, to make therapy more effective and more enjoyable. So I've really seen how technology can support people and build their confidence and reach their goals and take further steps toward independence. So being this particular space has really allowed me to enhance my knowledge and experience in this area, which is why I'm here presenting to you today. Okay, I won't spend too much time on this as Chelsea has pretty much covered everything. So as she mentioned, aphasia is a condition that can occur as a result of an acquired brain injury. So that is any damage to the brain that occurs after birth. So it could be trauma, stroke, alcohol or drug abuse or infection related. In particular, when the centres associated with language processing have been damaged. So these include the frontal lobe, the temporal lobe, where the two areas that were mentioned already, Broca's and Wernicke's, are found. So just a little bit more about those two areas. Wernicke's area processes your understanding of words and picks which ones you use. It then sends a message to Broca's area, and once this area knows what words you want to use, that sends a signal to the muscles that we use to speak. Again, as it was already mentioned, one of the most common features of aphasia are word finding difficulty, so that is trouble thinking of the correct word to say, so people may substitute words or use non-words, and the way this will present itself is that the output might be slow and effortful in Broca's aphasia or very fluent in Wernicke's aphasia, but really using words or sounds that don't make sense together. Some people will have difficulty with spelling and writing and understanding information provided verbally or in writing. So basically, difficulties across all domains of language can occur. Just a stat, 140,000 people live in Australia live with aphasia in Australia. So other considerations, these are all worth mentioning, as all of these will not just impact communication, but also a person's ability and willingness to engage with therapy and therefore technology. So these are concurrent motor speech impairments that were mentioned before, dysarthria and apraxia, visual deficits, cognitive impairments, upper extremity hemiparesis, chronic pain, and some issues with endurance and fatigue. Okay, on to technology. So here are some applications that I incorporate into therapy and encourage my clients to use at home. As we all know, establishing a structured home practice program is essential. It can significantly enhance progress and support a person's recovery journey. So the first one I'll speak about, and there'll be some pictures after. This one is the Tactus Therapy app. So these are very well-known, widely used, evidence-based programs developed by speech pathologists. So they have activities covering pretty much every area I've mentioned: comprehension, naming, reading, writing, conversation, discourse, as well as speech and swallowing. A key strength of these apps is their high level of customization, and so you can pretty much adjust for anything: the number of trials, choice options, complexity levels, and even word lists that are suitable for each individual. Additionally, these apps are designed to support different types of cueing and prompting. So for instance, some people might respond better to what we call semantic-based cues, so providing meaning-based hints, or phonemic cues, such as providing the first sound of a word, and these again can be tailored to each person. We've got Constant Therapy next. This is another well-known evidence-based program developed by neuroscientists and clinicians, and again, activities focus on speech, language, cognition, visuospatial skills, memory, and attention. This one comes with adaptive technology, which means it automatically adjusts the difficulty and focus of a task as the person progresses through them. And many of the activities are highly functional and relevant to everyday life. For instance, reading a medication label, or telling the time, or interpreting a map. Cues Speak, very similar to the other two, made up of about 14 modules, very customizable. I like this one. It has about 15,000 videos of words and sentences and sounds being broken up into so videos and being spoken out. So really it allows for just unlimited targeted practice within any vocabulary that you want to use. This one can also record a person's response so that it can be compared with the model. The last one there is Lingraphica. This is a free app. I should have mentioned all of the ones above have a fee or a subscription cost. This one is, again, designed by clinicians and backed by Lingraphica's own research. And again, over 13,000 tasks targeting comprehension, speaking, reading, writing, listening, memory, reasoning, and daily living activities. The last one there is Aphasia Online. This is a web-based platform that can be accessed via computer as well. The other ones tend to be more for tablet or iPad users. And this one, again, designed by Speech Pathologist, and it offers therapy tasks in reading, spelling, listening, and naming. So I'll show you. So this one's Aphasia Therapy Online. It's a little bit simpler compared to the others, but I think that's where its strength lies. It's just a really good option, like a low-cost, easy, accessible tool. Then got Tactus app, the naming tasks. So if you can see below, those are all the different types of cues that might help you retrieve, the target word. And Tactus app focusing on comprehension, so we can do a task focused on auditory comprehension, reading comprehension, and both together. This is Cue Speak, and it's a good example of script therapy. So again, that can all be changed and customized to the person's information. Okay. Accessibility features. So most of these will be on a phone or a tablet. I do have to admit I have a preference for Apple. However, most features will be available to Android users as well. So Apple run accessibility workshops. So if you also book an appointment with an accessibility specialist, they will be able to help you learn how to maximize the use of your device, and also recommend appropriate features depending on your presentation and difficulties. So I'll touch upon each one. The first one being assistive touch. So that allows you to customize on-screen controls to suit your physical needs. So if certain gestures like a pinch or a two-finger tap doesn't work for you, we can swap them with something else or create a gesture of your own. Assistive access, which I will show you in a second, it's probably my favorite feature. It makes it easy for people with cognitive disabilities to access their phone by lightening that cognitive load and suiting their specific needs and preferences. So basically, you can change the whole interface of your device with contrast buttons, large text labels, or visual alternatives to text. As you will see, so all of the phone and FaceTime, they all fall into a single calls app along with messages, camera, photos, music, and magnifier. So those who prefer communicating visually, messages include an emoji-only keyboard with also the option to record a video message instead. The dictation feature enables you to talk where you would type, even with disordered speech. Spoken content is another pretty cool feature. So this will really help with comprehension. Basically, you can read your entire screen out loud and control the way it's spoken. You can pause speaking, adjust the rate, navigate back and forward, or just select a particular word or sentence that you want to be read out loud. We've got voiceover, which is very similar, and text and display settings, which again can be just changed to suit your needs. Guided access can also just restrict your phone to a single app. I've put the Apple Intelligence. This is very new. It's only come out with the newest iOS update. Very, very helpful for people with communication and comprehension difficulties. So it's got some really cool writing tools. So basically you can rewrite emails or text messages, change the tone or proofread something that you've written just using a single tap. So you can also summarize information. So think, receiving a really long, complex email from NDIS or whoever, just by using a single tap, you can have that information summarized and given key points from that. So really supporting any comprehension difficulties and reducing that cognitive load. Siri now can also be trained to recognize 50 personalized commands. So this is the ability to assign any action to any chosen sound or word. So people with disordered speech or non-standard speech can activate shortcuts and complete complex tasks more easily. Another really amazing feature is transcription. So if you're on the phone, again, with maybe someone from NDIS or Centrelink or what have you, the whole conversation can be transcribed in real time with the option to play it back, view a full transcript, or generate a summary from the phone call. For privacy reasons, callers are notified that this is being used. Similar to this, live caption. So if you're on the phone with someone, you can have on-screen captions of everything that is said by the other person. I do believe these are really valuable compensatory strategies that have the potential to improve independence, reduce communication barriers, and support participation in daily life for people living with aphasia. For many of my clients, tasks such as reading or responding to emails, organising appointments, managing day-to-day communication can be quite overwhelming. And by incorporating these technologies into everyday routines, people with aphasia can strengthen their communication skills, reduce frustration, and feel more included and in control of their daily lives. Okay, so that's what assistive access looks like. So as I mentioned, you can change the whole interface of your phone so that is easier to use. You can make it into tiles or rows, and that's the emoji-only keyboard if typing is not for you. Okay, on to AAC systems, which I feel would be of interest to the lady who asked the question earlier in terms of, so these are meant to support individuals with impaired verbal communication. We can divide these into two categories. We've got some light tech, so these are some choice boards, which I will show you in a second, picture boards, life story books, and memory books, which again can assist people in communicating personal information, making choices, and interacting in their immediate environment in an effective manner. Then we've got some high-tech AAC, which are applications or devices such as Speech Assistant, Proloquo, Avaz. There's lots, but they all pretty much do the same thing, which is providing symbols or pictures or text-to-speech technology to help a person better express their needs, thoughts, and feelings. So what people do, they'll tap words or symbols or letters, and these are then spoken out loud by the device. Very highly customizable. You can put your own vocabulary in, your own pictures, you can change the voice, you can have your own voice as well, and different layouts too. They range from really simple apps, for instance, one single button with a recorded message, or quite complex dynamic displays with predictive text and full alphabet boards. I've also included, now this is for, I would say, severely impaired people with, severely impaired verbal communication, and also upper limb motor impairments. Different access methods. So eye gaze technology will allow users to select letters, words, and symbols on a screen, or essentially run their whole device using their eyes only. And we've also got a switch access. I've mentioned the NeuroNode, which is a quite unique technology. I will chat about it in a second after these pictures. So those are your choice boards. You can put different pictures, like I said, highly customizable to whatever you want to use it for, feelings, immediate needs, personal care, really anything. Pictello is an app that can be used for life story or memory aid. You can pretty much put anything you want. Speech Assistant, that's your sentence to spoken output device. Similar Avaz, that's a symbol or picture-based program. Eye gaze. And did want to mention the NeuroNode. Like I said, this is quite a high-tech switch, so we have this at LifeWorks. This is for those with very severe movement restrictions. So this is something that can be placed anywhere on the body, where even the slightest intent of muscle movement will activate it as a switch. So potentially you can run a communication device or any phone, iPad, what have you, using minimal movement. Even just the effort to move will activate the switch. So I've added some other programs as well. We've got the Aphasia Tech Hub at the University of Queensland. So their goal is to improve access to technology for people with aphasia. So they'll work with clinicians, people with aphasia, communication partners. They offer coaching, demonstrations, how to use smartphones, tablets, laptops, and applications. And they offer consultations via Zoom. So I do highly recommend, especially say if you're waiting to be accessing some services, to touch base with them and have maybe something that you can try immediately. We've also got the Interability free program. This is in a Sydney uni. It's online, and as Chelsea mentioned, communication partner training, very important, yeah? Best practice when working with in brain injury rehabilitation. And we also run our own communication partner training workshop. If you'd like to know more about that, there's one coming up very soon. Here are our details. And that's my email address as well if you have any questions or would like to touch base. Thank you for having me. I think